My name is Marjory. I'm 15 years old and an incoming sophomore at Marjory Stoneman High School.
I'm Eastman. I am 17 years old and a rising senior at Marjory Stoneman High School.
Hi, I'm Kirsten McConnell, and I'm going to be a senior at Marjory Stoneman High School.
Hi, I'm Delaney Tarr, and I am a recent graduate of Stoneman Douglas High School.
Hi, I'm Carly Hudson, and I'm a rising senior at Melbourne High School in Brevard.
Hi everyone, my name is Carmel Al-Shaibi, and I'm a rising junior at Melbourne High School down in Brevard County.
Let's get started. First question for the students from Parkland. What do you believe is the most important policy point that can be effective to stopping gun violence?
I mean, ultimately, we do think that our policy points work in conjunction to stop gun violence as a whole. However, we do think that some of the more agreeable ones would be policy points like funding the CDC, things like digitizing the ATF, and things like universal background checks. Ultimately, we do consider all of our policy points to be common sense, but we know that some things have a better chance of being passed right now than others do.
And adding on to what Delaney said, on our website, marchforOurlives.com, we have 10 policy points that we think would be the most reasonable and effective ways to curb gun violence. And some other ones would include universal background checks, which 97% of Americans agree on. Americans don't agree on 97% of anything else.
As a student, I will never feel safe unless the root of all of our problems, the guns, are being dealt with. Because all of these preventative measures, arming teachers, metal detectors, clear backpacks, they're just band-aid solutions.
As the army teacher also, teachers already wear too many hats. Like, security is not another hat.
Just one final quick note. When you break it all down, the solution to gun violence is not more guns.
Something I'd like to stress is we shouldn't be reactive, we should be preventative. We shouldn't need a good guy with a gun to stop a bad guy with a gun, because the bad guy shouldn't have the gun.
So, I mean, like was said before, teachers already wear too many hats. They're meant to be our educators, not our protectors. They shouldn't be armed to protect us in case a school shooting might happen. We need to stop those school shootings from happening in the first place, not thinking of ways to react to them. And it's just ridiculous, because I remember a few years ago, we had to have a limitation on how much paper we could use at Douglas because we didn't have enough money. So now we want to lie to the teachers?
Because you asked about support, and as an educator, I'm sure you understand that our teachers have been such a large support system for us through all of this, because they have listened to us, they have informed us, and they have made us more complete people, because they didn't treat us as kids, they treated us as people whose opinions were just as valid as theirs. They treated us as their peers, as their equals, as people who really had so much to say. And I think that feeling valued and feeling appreciated in that way truly led most of us to propel our voices forward after the incident that happened at our school.
Hey guys, I want to thank you guys for coming out, especially to Volusia County. What a place.
You can take that two different ways.
So my question is this. So I'm a huge proponent, especially trying to get people to register to vote and all these things. So I want to ask you guys, what are the things, or why do you think it's important for people to register to vote, especially the youth? Because in Volusia County, in 2016 turnout, like midterm election, only 7% of young people actually turned out to vote, which is a problem. So I was wondering from your perspective, like, could you tell the crowd as to like why it's important to kind of mobilize the youth vote, especially these upcoming elections?
If you don't vote, you don't get to complain.
Yes!
like you said, 7% of the youth going out to vote is just a terrible amount. We need to get that number higher because ultimately this is our country. This is the future that we'll be going into. So we need to be more active in voicing what our policies should be, who is making those policies, and how our government functions. Because if we don't, like Kirsten said, we just can't complain about it.